All right, so this is going to be an unboxing of the Cooler Master Hyper 212 RGB Black Edition. So it has an RGB fan on the cooler. My son actually has this one. I did an unboxing and an install of the other edition, not this one, sorry, the other edition of this that does not have the RGB fan, so it's just a standard fan on top of the Cooler Master heatsink. So let's get started, and I need a knife. All right, so I'm back. Cut that open there. And this is the first time I've recorded using my Nikon camera here, so this will be a little bit different. Let's go ahead and, oh, look at that. I thought I was going to pull something else out there. There's your fan. Nice. So the box has just the RGB user manual, or Hyper 212 Black Edition user manual, which maybe I'll read. I don't know. And then this box here is likely going to have the mounting components. So I got some brackets and stuff depending on what you're mounting it to. For me, I'm going to mount it to an old i7, so 4th gen i7 4790K, I think that's the model. So it looks like, here, let me bust out some of this stuff here in this bag so you can see what mounting hardware it has. You know what's funny is I didn't even validate that if it truly does mount to my motherboard. I'm pretty sure it does. But so we got our various bracket styles here, depending on what you're doing with it. Looks like this might be like a power converter. Oh, this is the RGB. Ooh, what's that? This looks like a little button. A little button. So this must set the RGB and the brightness of the LED light in the fan. And this little guy is kind of unique. So it's got a 2-pin small plug here to a Molex, or however you say this name of this old school power connector here. And it's a straight through power connector. So this you would just plug into your motherboard, and then this would deliver power to something on the fan or something. I'm not sure exactly yet. We got a bunch of bolts here. I think you can see these. Some little rubber feet, not sure what that's all about. Some spacers and things like that. And then we also have a bag here of what looks like some kind of little clips. We'll have to see what these are for. I don't remember from the last time. And then some thermal paste. All right, let's pull out the fan. So the fan and heatsink here. Oops, it looks pretty good. It's got a little warranty guide. Don't need that. Don't need this. Okay, so heatsink looks really nice, actually. And I'm pretty sure, actually, look at this one. This is fixed. There's no way that's fixed. No. So I would imagine there would be a way to take this off. There is. I'm sorry, it's not fixed. And so I think you just bend this up. Yeah, here you go. So this can bend up because these are just little plastic holders, and you can take the fan off of the heatsink here. So then you can mount the fan on either side depending on what you need in your case. And these little ridges here is what that clip fastens to, like that. Yeah, it's pretty good. So heatsink looks really, really clean. I love this color personally. It's fantastic. Obviously don't peel that until you're ready to use it, I guess. I guess they don't want you getting dirt and stuff on there. I don't know. Don't scratch it. Who knows? And then here's the fan. So I'd imagine the LEDs are on the inside in here. It's just a guess. Maybe they shine outside towards the blades, I think. So it lights the blades of the fan up. That'd be my guess. Yep. All right, so let's get to installing it. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is remove the current Intel box fan that I got when I bought this i7. So this is an old i7, i7 4790K. And this is the fan that came with the Intel chip when I bought it many years ago. So this is the back plate for the Cooler Master fan, and it's got fittings for both motherboard types, and Intel and AMD. And so for this particular motherboard, because it's an i7, it's Intel, so I'm using the Intel pieces. And I'm just putting it on top of what's already there. There's a little bit of a plate there that holds the socket in from the other side, and it just kind of goes on top of that. Now I'm screwing in the, they're about a 1/2 inch long, I call them spacers, I think, earlier in this video rather, and they're actually just threaded spacers, if you will. So they're going to go on top of the screws that you put onto that back plate, and then they're going to be threaded on the other half as well, so that you can screw the fan into them. The fan itself has 2 different style metal brackets you can put in there, depending on which motherboard type you're gonna mount it to, and so that's what screws into these threaded spacers. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just tightening them down with the provided adapter, and I'm just making sure that the fan fits there well. Yeah, and so this is the little holders that I was talking about. You screw them into the side of the fan depending on which motherboard style you have, or the bottom of the fan rather. So I pointed to the Cooler Master logo because the last time I did a video like this, I actually mounted it upside down, which is kind of stupid. Didn't pay attention to that. I'm going to put my thermal paste on here again. I got lots of nasty comments last time I put thermal paste on saying, you know, you provided a whole tube, so you might as well use the whole tube, which is, I did put a lot on there. If you're very curious on how much thermal paste to do per all of the pros, go YouTube that up. I think Linus Tech Tips did a really good video on that. I haven't experienced any issues with doing thermal paste. So here's what I'm doing now is I'm screwing in the screws for the fan mount. Now these are backed or held rather by springs, and so I'm pretty sure the idea here is that you just screw them in as far as they can go until the threads stop letting you screw it in, and the springs themselves is what keeps the heatsink pressed to the CPU itself. So now I'm plugging in the fan, which is pretty easy to remove from the heatsink itself. It's just little plastic clips on the sides that go into a groove on the heatsink. And as I put it in, I quickly realized that this fan's actually too big for the motherboard design, and you can't have all your DIMMs filled. You can see it's running into one of the memory sticks over there. So what I had to do was, one, I mounted on the back of the fan for temporarily so that I could use my computer. But then I decided that the best approach is probably to just take out some of the RAM. So I took out 2 4GB sticks and left 2 8s. And so now I have 16 gigs total instead of 24. So what I'm doing right now is taking off the plastic brackets that hold the fan to the heatsink, and I need to rotate them to the other side of the fan itself so that the fan is correctly placed for airflow, so that it flows, you know, the same direction as the case fan behind the heatsink. So this is pretty easy to do. You just have to take those little rubber feet off. They gave you an extra 4 just in case you messed it up. I'm going to reuse them because I don't feel like I need to use the extra 4 for this. And so I'm going to go ahead and mount these plastic brackets on the back side like this, and then put the fan back onto the heatsink, and then it'll be the correct orientation as are the other fans. So now I'm clipping it back onto the heatsink here, and the RAM stick is still kind of somewhat in the way. It's literally on top of the 4th DIMM. So, and then once you get the heatsink, you just press the sides in to make sure it clamps correctly to the heatsink and the fan. So this is it running. What I wanted to show you though is that the LEDs in the fan are quite bright, and if you hit the wrong angle of the case, so just position your case so that it's not hitting your eyesight, but you can see those LEDs are very bright. You can see that reflecting in the video here. Other than that, it looks pretty good. The little controller for the fan itself is just a little push button thing, lets you cycle through colors and modes of the LEDs like blinking and whatnot.